Every year, I struggle to find bookish gifts that feel personal without costing a fortune or requiring me to be especially crafty. So this year, I decided to come up with 5 genuinely thoughtful and affordable gifts for book lovers. Things that you can put together easily, but that still feel meaningful and unique. So grab something cozy, sit by the tree with me, and let's get into it. But first, let me set the scene. Gift idea number 1 is a custom bookmark placed inside of a custom bookmark collection jar. So here's an example of a bookmark I recently made for myself. When I say that I made this, I basically just put stickers on this plastic and added a tassel. So it's really very uncrafty. I made a couple more to give as gifts. This one is going to go to my little sister, and then this one here is for my goddaughter. The colors kind of reflect their personalities a little bit. And there's a couple ways you could do this, because when you purchase these, there's a film on either side. For this one, I removed the film on both sides, but for this one, I decided to leave the film on the back because it gives it a little bit of that frosted look, which I also like. You can purchase what you need cheaply on Amazon. Here's one example for $7 US. It includes 30 bookmarks along with colored tassels, as you can see here. And you can just purchase whatever sticker collections you would like to add onto them. Or if you actually do have a little bit of talent, then you're also able to paint on these, as you can see in the image. If you'd like to spend less than $7 plus the cost of stickers, then you could just purchase some basic poster paper at your local craft supply store or office supply store, and then just cut this up into the shape of bookmarks. Or, even better, you could just grab whatever random cardboard you happen to have in the pantry. And obviously on the outside, it has an image, but on the inside, it'll just be like the neutral cardboard color. So that works. Of course, you can still put stickers on these. You can paint them, you can draw on them. And if you're going this route, then I would suggest laminating the bookmark to make it actually feel finished. And you could choose to hole punch the top. And you could purchase tassels to use for that, but you could really use anything. You could use ribbon from gift wrapping that you already have at home. I happen to have this twine that I've used before for gifts, and I have a ton of it left over, so you could use that in place of a tassel as well. Now we're going to be placing our custom bookmark or bookmarks in a custom bookmark jar. There you go. This is inspired by my really hefty bookmark collection. I collect a bookmark every time I travel anywhere, and obviously other ones that just kind of end up in my life somehow. And I've had this mug since I was like 10 years old. It was gifted to me as a kid. And so I decided to repurpose it in order to keep all of my bookmarks in one place as a little collection. So you could make a jar for somebody else rather than purchasing a mug for them. I, every year, struggle to figure out what to do with these yogurt jars because they are quite nice, like the actual shape of them. They are glass, and I don't really want to throw them out, nor do I even want to recycle them because I feel like I could do something with them. Last year, I made these little plants for everybody. I kept one for myself. Here's that twine that I repurposed again. This has grown a whole lot in 1 year, so it's getting a little too big for this tiny jar at this point. But there's a lot of things you can do with these. And step 1 is to remove the label, which is a little bit annoying, but doesn't require skill. So once you peel it off, then your friend is going to be this Goo Gone to remove the stickiness. This or whatever brand of de-stickifier you prefer. That's the official term, I think. Actually, what's it called? Adhesive remover. That's what this is, an adhesive remover, and that will help you to get like all the nasty sticky stuff off the jar. So once you've done that, then you can place your own label on it, and there's a couple of options that I have for you in regards to labeling. Option number 1 is to simply purchase some blank labels that you can write on. I like this option. It looks kind of vintage. Another option is this one. So this one's more rectangular and it has different potential shapes. And there's also different colors that it comes in if you prefer something a little bit brighter. Here's one other option that's even cheaper, at least right now. Now, if you're not crafty, but you don't mind playing with Canva, then I have another option for you. Here is a label that I created that you can order from Canva as a printed sticker. It includes the Stephen King quote, "Books are a uniquely portable magic." Now, while I can't share the template for that with you because I don't have the premium version of Canva, I will share the image And I can share the template that I adopted for that because I basically just copied somebody else's design and changed the words. So both of those links will be down below. All of these label options should fit a standard wee yogurt jar. They're 2 inches all around for the circular ones, and this is pretty much exactly 2 inches from top to bottom. And then the rectangular ones are 2 inches and then 3 inches in width. So all of them should work with these. However, you certainly can use other jars. There's plenty of different products that you might purchase at the grocery store that you might already have in your pantry or be using up that are made of glass. For instance, this is something that I purchased recently at a farmer's market, and I already finished all this granola, but I do still have the mason jar because it's quite nice, and you could certainly use something much larger like this if you prefer. Gift idea number 2 also involves repurposing any glass jars that you have at home and custom labeling them. And this would be for any readers who like to annotate while they read, because you can create a little annotation kit for them. I'll add a couple of links down below for collections of annotation tabs that come in different colors. At time of recording, they cost about $3. And of course, you would then fill that in with little pens and pencils and other typical annotation tools that one might use. As with the bookmarks jar, I've created a little label for you guys to kind of copy if you'd like to do that. This one is in the same design style, but says annotation kit in place of bookmarks. Okay, gift idea number 3, and our final option that would make use of these jars is a collection of personalized book recommendations. This idea came to me because I have friends who love to cook, and a couple of times they have requested recipes from their friends. And so they'll have little note cards or sheets of paper in a binder, and then every person will provide a recipe that's either been a part of their family history or something in particular that they love to cook. And so that person can collect like a very personalized recipe book. So the idea here is to ask around people that you know in your life that love to read, yourself included if you're a reader, and ask for people's favorite books. On a little mini writing pad, each person can jot down the name of their favorite book, the name of the author, and a very brief description of the book or an explanation of why they love it so much. And then all of those little sheets of paper can be added into the jar, again with a custom label in the front. So these recommendations can be collected obviously from family and friends, but they can also be collected from strangers who are book lovers. So you know when you walk into a bookshop, particularly like an independent, smaller bookshop, and they tend to have recommendations from the staff kind of littered around the bookstore with descriptions. I think it would be a good idea to pop into a bookstore, see what those are and write them down, or even better, to actually ask the staff to recommend a book. I'm sure a lot of them would be happy to write something out on a little notepad that you can also add to the jar. And you can also visit local libraries and ask your librarians what books they would recommend and see if they will, in their own handwriting, fill out those sheets of paper. So I think that that would be a highly personalized gift that I think any book lover would appreciate. Now, once again, I've got a Canva printable label for you. This is the Book Recs jar label. Now, if you'd like an extra special gift for somebody, you could just give them all 3 jars that we've discussed so far. So they could have the bookmarks collection jar, the annotation kit jar, and the book recommendations jar. Now, the labels on Canva do cost individually though. So in that case, if you're looking to spend less, I would recommend just purchasing the collection of blank labels that you can write on. There are a couple of other options though for the book recommendations gift in particular. So number 1, obviously you could just purchase a lovely journal and then collect all of those book recommendations within the pages of the journal. And then you would leave a couple of pages blank in between each recommendation so that the reader can then write their own thoughts after reading that recommendation. So that's a lovely way to do it as well. This one's just a little bit pricier at close to $20, but this looks like a library card catalog drawer with note cards inside from the quote Library of Congress. And you could write each book recommendation on the back side of each of these cards and place them in the little drawer. So I think that this version of the gift is especially charming and memorable. Bookish gift number 4 is simply to gift somebody a trip to the bookstore and purchasing them a book of their choice. So you get the actual experience of spending the afternoon together and they walk out with a book. I first thought of purchasing them a book and doing like blind date with a book covering it up, writing a description, and having them discover the book as they open the gift. However, I do worry sometimes about gifting people books because then I worry that they feel pressured to read the book and perhaps they're not in the mood
for that particular story at this specific time in their lives, and then you might ask them, hey, have you read the book? And if they haven't, then they might feel guilty. So
I just prefer to allow them to select a book of their own. So this is a very easy gift. Obviously, there isn't anything physical to give them in the moment. So you could just give them a gift voucher for a book of their choice. And there's a couple of different cute ways that you can do this. Number one is currently for $4, you can purchase this golden ticket and you can write down their gift and then they can actually scratch it off. So this is a fun way for them to kind of uncover their Christmas gift. Of course, you want to make sure that they're not expecting anything grand, like a new car or something, because then that would definitely backfire. In any case, I thought the golden ticket idea was apropos since it's a reference to the classic book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But you can also create a golden ticket for free with your handy dandy cardboard from your pantry. But of course, you can also just buy a Christmas card and within the note, let them know that you will be purchasing a book for them when you visit a bookstore together. What I like about this gift, rather than giving them like a gift card to a bookstore, is that you also get the experience of going to the bookstore with them and spending the day. So it's partly about the experience, not just the gift itself. Bookish gift idea number 5, and this one is inspired by my childhood trips to the library with friends and our friends' moms, which is an especially fond memory for me. And I kind of want to recreate it now as an adult. I think I might actually do this Christmas with a couple girlfriends. So the idea here is that you would gift them a trip together to the library where you would both select books to take home with you and you would just kind of like make a day of it. And then the actual monetary gift would be you inviting them to coffee or lunch or dinner afterwards, whatever your preference may be. So you would treat them to a meal after your visit to the library. But once again, we're kind of like emphasizing the experience rather than like an actual physical gift. But you could either purchase that golden ticket or you can actually also do like a ticket to Narnia or a ticket to Wonderland or like a Hogwarts letter or something like that. Anything that ties into a work of literature that you know your friend actually likes. And I do feel like libraries are sort of this magical portal into another world, so I think it's fitting. And those are my 5 bookish gift ideas. Simple, affordable, but also a little bit more personal than your typical holiday picks. If you'd like to try any of these, or if you have your own thoughtful ideas for gifting to readers, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. And whatever you're celebrating this season, I hope that it's cozy, joyful, and filled with good books. Thank you for spending part of your day with me and happy reading.